Hello dear students, welcome you all to Shri Jayendra Rank Zone classes. I am your mentor and your friend for the subject biology, and I will be taking care of the zoology section, that is the animal science. So my dear students, in the previous lectures, in the previous videos, we have completed till non-chordates under kingdom Animalia. And now we are going to start with phylum Chordata. Okay, so basically kingdom Animalia has been divided into these two subgroups, non-chordates and chordata. So now we are going to start with phylum Chordata. Now moving to the next slide. Phylum Chordata. Chordata is two words of Greek language. Chorda. Chorda means a thick string, and eta. Eta means to have, to possess. Okay. So chordates, they basically have a thick string. Okay. To have a thick string, and thus chordate animals have notochord, and that's why the chordates, they have notochord, and this notochord is basically a thick string. Notochord is a structure which basically runs parallel to the longitudinal axis of the body, and it helps to support for the body structure of these animals, which is present in the organisms at all stages in their life. So in case of chordates, the notochord is present in all stages of life, okay, whether it is the embryonic life, whether it is the adult life, okay, the notochord is present in all the stages, okay. Now the animals that lack notochord are called non-chordates, okay. Those animals which are not having notochord, they are known as what? Non-chordates, right? According to taxonomists, different scientists who actually help to identify the name, the group, okay, of a particular organism, they categorize the organism to put into a particular category, okay. So according to them, according to taxonomists, from the total number of organisms, I mean whatever the number of organisms we are having present on this planet Earth, 90 to 95% animals are non-chordates, okay. So 90 to 95% animals are non-chordates, and only 3 to 5% animals are chordates, which are having what? True notochord, okay. So chordates are the organisms, are the animals which are having notochord in all the stages of life, whether it is a larval stage, whether it is the adult stage, in all the stages. In chordates, especially when we talk about the fishes, okay, fishes, okay, scientifically known as Pisces group, includes maximum species, okay. So Pisces means fishes, it includes maximum species, while minimum animals in the amphibian group, okay. So minimum animals mean on the when we talk about the numbers, okay, so they are present in amphibians, and maximum are present in Pisces, that is fish, okay. So there is a body plan which is given in this diagram, that the chordates, how they differ from the hemichordata and how they are close to vertebrata. So you can see the chordates, they have dorsal nerve cord. This nerve cord is running through the whole body surface longitudinal axis. They have notochord in all the stages of life. They have notochord, okay. Then they have caudal fin. Caudal fins mean there are two types of fin. One is the pelvic fin and the caudal fin. So these caudal fins at the back to actually help in the change of direction. Right? Now, most importantly, they have gonads. I mean, gonads, they were previously present as well, but they have gonads, or a series of gonadal or the glands. Okay, here you can see. Okay, they have pharyngeal gill slits. Pharyngeal gill slits means pharynx is the part which basically related to the respiration, exchange of gases. Okay, so pharyngeal gill slits are also present. So they have notochord, they have pharyngeal gill slits for, and especially the notochord for all stages of life. Then they have mouth, you can see, they have tentacles. Okay, most importantly, the brain is developed more in comparison to the hemichordata. Okay, especially when we talk about the non-chordates and chordates, there are some common differences. You actually should know what are the differences between chordates and non-chordates. I'll write them here. Okay, non-chordates. Chordates. Most importantly, chordates, they have notochord present. And non-chordates, notochord is absent. Right? Then the chordates, they have central nervous system which is dorsal. Okay, chordates, you can see, that's why I have just figured it out. Dorsal nerve cord. They have central nervous system in dorsal, means at the back, which is hollow and it is single. So in case of chordates, you can write single hollow dorsal nerve cord. Single hollow dorsal nerve cord. Okay, nerve cord, CHORD, single hollow dorsal nerve cord. In case of non-chordates, they have ventral at the front. Here dorsal is, this is dorsal and this part is ventral. Okay, this is dorsal, right? So they have ventral, solid and double nerve cord. Okay, double nerve cord, ventral, solid and double nerve cord. Then chordates, they have pharynx perforated by gill slits or pharyngeal gill slits. Pharyngeal gill slits are present. Okay, in case of non-chordates, gill slits are absent. Okay, this is the first, second, and this one is the third. Okay, now the fourth difference, in case of chordates, the heart is ventral at the front. You can also see heart is it in your ventral position. Okay, so the fourth point is ventral heart. Here the heart is dorsal. So please just keep all these points in your mind. Okay, when we talk about the difference between chordates and non-chordates. Okay, I'll make a recall of all these points. Non-chordates, notochord is absent. Chordates, notochord is present. Then non-chordates, they have ventral, solid, double nerve cord. In case of chordates, it is single, hollow and dorsal nerve cord. Non-chordates, the gill slits are absent. In case of chordates, pharyngeal gill slits are present. Okay, in case of chordates, the heart is ventral, and in case of non-chordates, the heart is dorsal. Okay, understood? Okay, so shall we move to the next slide, my dear students? Okay, there are three fundamental characters of chordates. And what are these fundamental characters? The three fundamental characters of chordates are presence of notochord, which is known as what? Chorda dorsalis. Okay, so notochord is present at the back, and that is why the word is given dorsalis. Chorda dorsalis. Understood? Embryonal chordate animals have a solid stick-like structure located below the central nervous system and above the alimentary canal called the notochord. So notochord is basically a solid stick-like structure, which is located just below the central nervous system, okay, means the head region, okay, and it is above the alimentary canal, and it is known as what? Notochord. It is also known as chorda dorsalis, okay. Notochord is located at the dorsal surface. It is located at the dorsal surface in the body and extends between anterior ends and posterior ends, okay. Notochord is located at the dorsal surface in the body, at the back, and it extends front as well as the posterior, means this is the back, this is the front, F for front, B for back. This arrow is for anterior and this arrow is for posterior, okay. So the notochord, it extends from anterior to posterior, understood? At the dorsal part, back part, it is basically extending from anterior to posterior, okay. So notochord is located at the dorsal surface in the body and extends from anterior end to the posterior end. Notochord is mesodermal in origin. It is mesodermal in origin, okay, and forms a primary endoskeleton, supporting the CNS, central nervous system, and the muscles. So notochord, it is mesodermal in origin and it forms the primary endoskeleton supporting the muscles and the central nervous system, understood? Now the fourth point, protochordata has a notochord throughout the lifespan. The chordates are further classified into following categories, in which protochordata is a category. So protochordate, they have notochord throughout their whole lifespan. Vertebrata has modified notochord. They have modified notochord in the form of backbone, as we are having, or a vertebral column or a vertebral canal, which surrounds the spinal cord and cranium around the brain. So protochordata, it is having notochord for the whole lifespan. When notochord is not evolved, it is not upgraded to form vertebral column, having spinal cord inside it, okay. Presence of dorsal nerve cord, then notochord means the chordates, they have presence of dorsal nerve cord. So the very first feature was the presence of notochord. They have a tubular, thick, solid stick-like structure extending anteriorly to posteriorly, which is known as what? Notochord. It is located at the dorsal surface. Is it very clear? Notochord is mesodermal in origin and it forms the primary endoskeleton part, okay, to support the body structures, especially the muscles and CNS. Now protochordata, among the chordates, they are classified into two categories. One is protochordata, okay, and the other one is craniata or euchordata. So there are two categories. I will write C for chordata, P for protochordata, also known as acraniata. Acraniata means without cranium, without brain box. And then I am having craniata, means brain box is there to cover the brain, also known as euchordata, okay. So chordata, it is basically classified into two categories. Protochordata, also known as acraniata, without cranium, without brain box, means the skull. And chordata is further divided into the second category, that is craniata, having skull, mean brain box, or euchordata. Is it understood? So euchordates, they are higher chordates, and protochordates, they are the lower chordates, right? Understood? Now the second feature is the chordates, they have dorsal tubular nerve cord, as you have seen in the picture. Dorsal tubular nerve cord, which is running parallel to the longitudinal axis. Dorsal tubular nerve cord. I'll show once again. This is the dorsal tubular nerve cord. Dorsal tubular nerve cord. This is the dorsal tubular nerve cord, yellowish, which is yellow in color. Understood? The nerve cord, it terminates to form the brain, okay, which further is having sensory organ like eye spot, and we further terminate at the posterior side, okay, to form myomeres, right? So basically the dorsal nerve cord is supplying from the front portion, means the sensory organs, till the last portion, that is the myomeres or the segmented muscles, right? Now the first point was presence of notochord, second point was presence of dorsal nerve cord. Is that understood? Now coming to next, nervous system is present at the dorsal surface, at the back nervous system is present of the body in chordate animals. It is obvious, and we have covered it so many times. Next, a hollow tubular structure is present just beneath the body wall. Just beneath the body wall there is a hollow tubular structure, and just above the notochord. So basically nerve system is present at the dorsal surface of the body in chordate animals. This dorsal tubular nerve cord is hollow in case of chordates, and in case of non-chordate it is solid, okay. It runs just parallel to the notochord, okay. Nerve cord is ectodermal in origin, very important, very important. Ectodermal in origin. It is formed from the ectoderm of the embryo, okay. The nerve cord is ectodermal in origin, means it is basically made up of ectoderm. Non-chordates have solid and double nerve cord, already explained, which is situated in the mid-ventral side of the body, okay. So we are having on the dorsal side, and non-chordates they are having the mid-ventral side of the body, mid-ventral side of the body. Example, annelids, orthopods, they have in the mid-ventral side. Chordates lack ganglia. Chordates they don't have ganglia, but annelids, orthopods, especially the echinoderms, they are having ganglia. They were having ganglia. Chordates they don't have ganglia. They have nerve cord, okay, in the nerve cord, okay, which rounds spinal cord and cranium around the brain. So basically chordates they don't have ganglia. They have either notochord along with nerve cord, okay, or either they have vertebral column, which is basically enclosing the spinal cord along with the cranium around the brain, okay. Is it understood? Now what is the catch, my dear students? First, notochord is present, known as chorda dorsalis, at the back side. It is a tubular structure, which is stick like structure, runs from anterior to posterior, okay. Now second, the notochord is mesodermal in origin, and it helps to support the CNS, central nervous system, and the muscles. Protochordata, they have notochords for their whole life, okay. Vertebrata, the notochord which actually can be seen in embryological stages, but later on it is converted into the vertebral column. The vertebral column is having in the center the spinal cord, having spinal canal, okay, or the central canal, and it also covers the brain in the form of cranium, okay. So presence of dorsal tubular nerve cord, this is the second point. In case of chordates, it is dorsal tubular nerve cord. In case of non-chordates, it was solid ventral nerve cord, okay. So in case of chordates, it is dorsal hollow nerve cord, and in case of non-chordates, it was the ventral solid nerve cord, okay. Understood? Nerve cord is ectodermal, notochord is mesodermal. Notochord is mesodermal, nerve cord is ectodermal, okay. Now coming to next slide. Fundamental characters. Presence of pharyngeal gill slits. They have pharyngeal gill slits, means pharynx is perforated by gill slits. Pharynx is perforated by gill slits. Chordate animals, they have paired and lateral gill clefts. Chordates, they have paired, meaning a pair, lateral gill clefts present in the pharynx, okay, like this, paired gill clefts, okay, which are only in embryonal stages. These paired pharyngeal gill clefts, they were in the embryonal stage, but they disappear in adults. That's why in case of chordates, the gill slits, they cannot be a part of adult. Okay, they are only present in the embryonal stages, right? So chordates, they have pharyngeal gill clefts which are present on the embryonal stages, okay, and they further disappear in adults. Aquatic chordates like pisces or fishes have pharyngeal gill clefts that is used for respiration throughout their whole lifespan. So in case of aquatic chordates like fishes, pisces, they have pharyngeal gill clefts that is used for respiration throughout their lifespan. Okay, understood? Terrestrial chordates, they have lungs for respiration. Terrestrial chordates, they have lungs for respiration. Aquatic chordates, they have pharyngeal gill clefts for respiration. Pharyngeal gill clefts or pharyngeal gill slits, they are basically present in the embryonal stages, but they get disappear in the later on adult stages. Okay. Post-anal tail, fourth fundamental character is they should have post-anal tail. It is the post-anal part of the body, means the posterior terminal part of the body. The tail is reduced or absent in many adult chordates. Tail is reduced or absent. It can be reduced or it can be absent in many adult chordates. In many adult chordates, it can be reduced or absent. It is considered as fourth character of the chordates. Fourth character of chordates. So the first character was presence of notochord in all stages of life. Whether it is embryonal stage or whether it is adult. Okay, I should not write or and. Understood? Second, presence of dorsal hollow nerve cord. Third, presence of pharyngeal gill slits or clefts in embryonal stages, right? And the fourth one is post-anal tail. Which can be reduced or absent in adult forms. Okay, so what are the different fundamental characters? Notochord present all the stages of life. Second, dorsal hollow nerve cord present all stages of life. Pharyngeal gill slits, okay, which is present in the embryonal stages. Further, it can disappear in the adults. And post-anal tail. Pharyngeal gill slits, they are present in the fishes, mean the pisces, okay. So those pisces or fishes, they have pharyngeal gill slits for respiration, okay. Terrestrial chordates, they have lungs for respiration. Understood? Now, my dear students, on the next slide, general characters. What are the general characters? First general character is they are aquatic. They are aquatic. Terrestrial mean they are aquatic and now they are coming on land. Now they are coming on land for colonizing, or aerial habitats, okay, and are common and are free living symmetry of organisms, right? Means they are aquatic, terrestrial, or can be found in aerial habitats, okay, which are the common habitats, okay, and are free living. They are free living and symmetrical, okay, they are free living and symmetrical. Free living and symmetrical. And most of them, they have bilateral symmetry. Bilateral symmetry. Is that understood? So they are aquatic, terrestrial, or aerial habitats, okay, and they are most of them bilaterally symmetrical and they are free living. They are free living. Understood? Is that understood? Okay. Now moving to the next. They are triploblastic, obvious. Okay, made up of ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. Arrangement of muscles in embryonic stages. During embryonic stages they have muscles. And in adults too. Vertebrae and ribs is due to metamerism. Okay, mean arrangement of muscles in embryonic stages and adults. Okay, vertebrae and ribs is due to metamerism. Vertebrae means vertebral column and ribs means the anterior portion. So basically the vertebral column at the back side, dorsal side, and the ribs on the ventral side, they are basically connected by the cartilages. They are connected by the cartilages. Okay, known as costal cartilages. Known as costal cartilages. So they have vertebrae on the back side, vertebral column, and ribs on the front side, and it is due to metamerism. Okay, metamerism means which actually will give them, which will try to give them a similar or symmetrical shape both in the front as well as in the back. Is that understood? So arrangement of muscles in the embryonic stages and in adults. Okay, now true coelom of enterocoelous type is present. Okay, chordates, they have two coelom, and which type? Enterocoelous type. Okay, and they are deuterostomas. Deuterostomas means anus developed from blastopore. Anus developed from blastopore. Anus developed first. Okay, so in deuterostomas, first there is a development of anus and followed by mouth. Okay, alimentary canal is complete. Alimentary canal is complete. The digestive system is complete. Yeah, the digestive system is having digestive glands which are present and which complete the digestion extracellularly. So they have intracellular as well as the complete extracellular digestion. Okay, the alimentary canal is complete. The digestive system is having digestive glands which help to complete the digestion extracellularly. Okay, heart is located below the alimentary canal. Heart is basically located below the alimentary canal at the ventral side of the body. So they have ventral heart. Ventral heart. And the blood flows from anterior to the posterior side. The direction of flow of blood is from anterior to posterior. Okay, in the dorsal blood vessel. So they have dorsal blood vessel, that is, and the ventral heart. So they have dorsal blood vessel but heart is ventral, so that the blood can move from anterior to posterior. Blood vascular system is of closed type. Blood vascular system is of closed type, mean they have blood vessels. Respiratory pigment is hemoglobin, as in case of us, we do have hemoglobin as our respiratory pigment in the red blood corpuscles. So you can see that they are exactly matching, or they have many characters matching to us. Okay. Now coming to next, their hepatic portal system is common. They have hepatic portal system. Also renal portal system is present in chordates but not in birds and mammals. So renal portal system is absent in the ones who are homeostatic when we talk about the birds and mammals, because renal portal system is basically a type of osmoregulatory machine which actually helps to control the amount of electrolytes, amount of water. Okay, so renal portal system is not required in case of birds and mammals. In case of birds and mammals, renal portal system is not required. Exoskeleton is highly developed because of the presence of notochord among the vertebrates, and this notochord is converted into vertebral column. So in vertebrates the exoskeleton is highly developed. Okay, in chordates endoskeleton is found which is made up of cartilage. In case of chordates, endoskeleton is made up of cartilage and bones. Stages show presence of muscular tail called post-anal tail. So in chordates, endoskeleton is first formed by cartilage, then that cartilage undergoes ossification. Ossification means deposition of calcium salts along with osine protein. Osine is a protein Found in bones. So basically in chordates the endoskeleton is found, which is made up of cartilage and bones. The cartilage further goes mature into bones, and they have muscular tail. Okay, this tail gets reduced later in some of the chordates, especially man, apes, proto, meso and metanephritic kidneys. Okay, sorry, I have just mixed two words. Okay, so in case of man and apes, okay, these chordates, what can I say, this presence of muscular tail or the post-anal tail is absent. Okay, because in case of humans, the post-anal tail it gets merged to form the last vertebrae. Okay, that is the coccyx, or it helps to form the sacrococcygeal junction. Sacrococcygeal means sacral is a vertebrae, coccyx is the vertebrae. Where they meet is the sacrococcygeal junction. Okay, so post-anal tail gets modified in case of humans, in case of apes, to form sacrococcygeal junction or coccyx, the last vertebrae. Okay, they have protonephric, mesonephric and metanephric kidneys constituting as an excretory organ. Sexual reproduction is most dominant, and sexes are separate. So there are three different types of excretory organs in them, that is protonephric, mesonephric and metanephric accordingly. Okay, like for example metanephric kidneys, like us, we excrete a very highly concentrated urinary waste, that is the urea. Okay, for that we will be needing a very good or highly evolved or highly developed kidneys, and that is why these three categories or these three types are present in the chordates. Now metamorphosis or development of embryo is direct, without any larval stage, no larval stage. Few are the exceptions in which larval stage is seen. Chordates may be cold-blooded, also known as poikilothermals, like amphibians, reptiles and fishes, and warm-blooded like homeothermals, example birds and mammals. Okay, so chordates, they may be cold-blooded, for example poikilothermals like amphibians, reptiles and fishes, and they may be warm-blooded like homeothermals like birds and mammals. So what are the general characters? We'll just go through a brief. They are aquatic, terrestrial and habitats are common, and they are free living, and they have symmetry. Which type of symmetry? Mostly of them they are having bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic, made up of 3 germ layers, arrangement of muscles in embryonic stages and in adults. Okay, so both in embryonic stages and adults they have arrangement of muscles. They have vertebrae at the back and ribs at the front, especially in case of the vertebrates. Okay, true coelom is of enterocoelomic type. Okay, and they are deuterostomous, means their blastophore first forms anus, then mouth is formed. Okay, in case of protostomia, first mouth is formed and then anus. Okay, so in deuterostomia first anus is found and then mouth. Okay, now heart is located at the dorsal side and it is just below the alimentary canal. Okay, heart is located below the alimentary canal at the ventral side of the body, and the blood flows from the anterior to the posterior, not dorsal, so sorry, it is ventral side. Okay, in case of non-chordates the heart is dorsal. Okay, so in case of chordates the heart is ventral. Okay, and it is just located below the alimentary canal, and the blood flows in the blood vessels, especially the dorsal blood vessels. The dorsal blood vessels, they run on the dorsal side and heart is present on the ventral side. Please remember, heart is present on the ventral side and blood vessels are running on the dorsal side. They have blood vascular system which is of closed type. Okay, which is of closed type, means they have blood vessels, dorsal blood vessels, and they have respiratory pigment known as hemoglobin, which is present in the RBC. They have a hepatic portal system which is common. They have hepatic portal system which is common. They may have renal portal system. Exceptions, birds and mammals, they don't have renal portal system, as they can control the amount of electrolytes and water with the help of the metanephric kidneys we are having. Okay, so that is why renal portal system is not required in case of birds and mammals. Now exoskeleton is highly developed and in case of vertebrates especially, it is highly developed. In chordates, endoskeleton is made up of cartilages. These cartilages further undergoes ossification, which is the deposition of calcium salts and osine. The process known as what? Ossification. Okay. And show presence of muscular tail called as post-anal tail. This post-anal tail, it may be present in the adult stage, or it may be reduced, or it may be absent. Okay. Example, in case of man and apes, the post-anal tail is basically converted into coccyx, okay, or sacrococcygeal junction. Sexual reproduction is highly developed, highly dominant, and sexes are separate. They undergo metamorphosis or development of embryo is direct, no larval stages. Some exceptions are there. Chordates, they may be cold-blooded, like case of poikilothermals, mean their body temperature can easily change according to the external temperature of the environment, like amphibians, reptiles, fishes, or warm-blooded homeothermals like birds and mammals. Okay, is it understood? Yeah. Now coming to next. This is the classification of chordata. Okay. So briefly, the chordates, they are basically classified into these two categories: acraniata or protochordata, or craniata or vertebrata. Acraniata means without cranium, without brain box. Craniata means the brain is basically covered with brain box. Okay, protochordata. Now they are small marine animals. Okay, their respiration is through gills. They have pharyngeal gill slits, which is present in the embryonic as well as adult stages. In some examples, they are reduced, okay, or they are absent. Okay, notochord stays throughout the life and completely lacks skull, brain, and vertebral column. Notochord is throughout life and it is not having skull, brain, and vertebral column when we talk about the protochordata. Okay, notochord does not replace vertebral column in case of protochordates. Also, they lack exoskeleton. They also lack exoskeleton. Okay, means they have exoskeleton-like structure, like head and paired appendages. Okay, they don't have exoskeleton. They don't have exoskeleton or head and paired appendages. Okay, so this protochordata or acraniata is further divided into urochordata and cephalochordata. So these are the common features of protochordata. Mean they are small marine animals. Okay. Respiration is by gills. Pharyngeal gill slits may be present in the adult stages or maybe get reduced or absent. Okay, but embryonic stage it is present. Notochord stays with whole lifespan. Okay, whether embryo or adult, and it lacks skull, brain, and vertebral column. Okay, notochord does not replace into vertebral column. Also, they lack exoskeleton. They don't have any exoskeleton, as notochord is not converting into vertebral column. So they don't be having, you know, a structure which is basically required to protect the nerves and other structures. Okay, it is further divided into two parts. Okay, urochordata and cephalochordata. So we will be discussing these two parts in the next class. Okay, urochordata and cephalochordata we will be starting in the next class. Till then, bye bye everyone. Take care. Please stay safe. Stay at home.